Curtis. Curtis. It's my movie. You have to throw it to me.
Oh, it's your movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, in the flesh.
Hey, look at us.
Hey, look at that.
We're together.
We are. It's like Back to the Future 2, where like you don't want to run into your actual self.
Yeah. We're doing this in person.
Ooh.
In 3D.
3 dimensions. 3Ds.
Oh.
So, hey, Oz, what movie we watching this week?
This week, we've got a movie marriage of The Last Dragon, The Incredibles,
yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop before he goes to L.A., and Arrested Development. This week, we are kicking off a new year, a new month, and a new theme with Action Jackson. Action Jackson. Action Jackson. I think it's Action Jackson. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme. This month being rhyming titles. And we're kicking off with a movie that we've commented the last couple of weeks has been on the docket for a long time.
Yeah, this is really honestly the entire reason this particular monthly theme exists.
100, and it is the worst movie we'll watch this month.
It's bad. It's not awful, but it's intermittently decent.
It's not good at what it's trying to be. It's a try hard, but
yes, it's a very try hard. That is an understatement.
But it's not a die hard.
No, well, it's trying to be a die hard.
It's trying to be.
It's quite literally trying to be a die hard, especially if you ask Joel Silver.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Action Jackson, the Carl Weathers
vehicle.
Yeah, like loose blaxploitation.
Sure, it was trying to do blaxploitation. It sort of turned into a blaxploitation movie right at the end.
Yeah, it's like I still feel that this movie didn't quite understand what it wanted to be. Like,
it wanted to be everything.
Exactly. It's like we're going to be an action movie. We're going to be a cop movie. We're going to be a blaxploitation movie.
We're going to be a Bond movie.
Exactly.
We're going to be a franchise.
Yeah, like, look, we even have our lead villain with dyed hair. Look how villainous he is.
Coach.
Yeah, exactly. So
Dauber was there.
Yeah.
Christine. I'm sure these references are great for this generation.
Yeah, everyone loves Jerry Van Dyke references.
Yes, can't get enough Jerry Van Dyke.
Be prepared, folks, because we're peppering in the Jerry Van Dyke Hall of Fame of comments. So before we do get too far, obviously, we want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., and Melissa L. Thank you for your patronage. And thanks for coming into 2024.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us into the new year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have some more names to wrap up.
That would be nice for your benefit, not for ours.
No, it's entirely for you.
All right, so we've got Action Jackson. It's my movie to bring. So who do we have for a cast of characters?
Well, I've got the Wikipedia list pulled up. I'm just going to kind of fly through these.
That's fair.
It's quite a lengthy list, but again, most of these. I tried keeping up with some of these characters.
Well, and the thing is, we got excited by some of the names in here.
Yeah, we did.
Complete non-entities.
Yeah.
For most of them.
Yeah. So, starting off, we have Sergeant Jericho, Action Jackson, played by, you could make a stew out of that himself, Carl Weathers.
You gonna eat that?
I am bone, make a nice stew.
Be the ball.
Then we've got Mr. Incredible himself, Craig T. Nelson, as Peter Anthony Dellaplane.
Yeah.
He's a Detroit Autos magnate.
Yeah.
One of my favorite words. I like the word. He's a magnate.
Magnate.
Yes, he's a magnate.
Tycoon, if you will.
we have his wife, Patricia Dellaplane, played by a very young, early in her career, Sharon Stone.
Very young. Like, really, with the star power of this movie, not to say that it really generated much power from itself, but she was a name that was like, oh, wow, Sharon Stone. And then, like we mentioned, non-entity.
No.
Not really.
Yeah, she was, I mean, we'll get to this later on.
Yeah.
She's in it, and then she's not. We've got Vanity.
Yeah, we do. As Vanity.
Yeah, we got a lot of Vanity. As Sydney Ash, a local heroin addict / lounge singer,
I guess.
/
Mistress?
Yeah, mistress to Dellaplane.
I think she's just a mistress to anybody that looks at her.
Anybody that offers her sweet shot of heroin.
That's right.
Some special K.
In a giant silver syringe.
Yes. Like you're trying to wake up Frankenstein.
Yeah, you basted a turkey or... Nope.
You got to keep that moist.
We just got Vanity's.
Vanities.
Yeah, it's just her dosage.
And next up, Oz, we got this is where the Joel Silver connection comes in.
Well, with everyone else.
A lot. And I'm not going to name everybody because there's a lot of like that guys in this as well. But like we got Robert Davey, one of the Johnsons from Die Hard is Tony Moretti. We have Bill Duke.
Yeah.
Past them trees.
Ghosted us.
As Captain Earl Armbruster.
Got you leave you here.
We've got some of these people we've got Roger Brown and Thomas F. Wilson Biff as officers Lack and Cornblow. I know we were excited about Biff being
and he was non-entity.
No, he's barely there.
It's like they had extra money.
Yeah. Hey, you like Back to the Future, right?
Oh, man, we really came in under budget. Let's bring in some heavier hitters.
Hey, Biff, what are you up to these days? We've got a bunch of other people. We got the limo driver from Die Hard is in this. Several of like the bad guy goons from Die Hard.
Yeah.
Sonny Landham from it's like we literally have 3/7 of the team from Predator in this movie. Al Leong, who's like a bad guy in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Die Hard is in this. We also get Mary Ellen Trainor.
Yeah, do we?
Yeah, and we got her for about 27 seconds.
Yeah, about it.
Yeah. At the time, married to Robert Zemeckis. One of the reasons why she was in every 80s movie. And there's some other people as well. There's people who were associated with like the Autos Union, and there's other cops, but whatever. The
AMA.
Yeah, all these too many people.
Or the AWA. I don't know what it was. It was some lower card wrestling promotion.
Yeah. The WO.
And really, like, look at it like the Wikipedia plot review. It's kind of all over the place, like the movie was.
Yeah.
Like, the movie starts off with a pretty solid cold open.
It does, yeah, really good, and it's straight out of like Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah,
the helicopter going up the high rise.
Yep. You've got an apartment that apparently is just lit by a candle or two. Like there's just, like all the lights are off.
A couple of Yankee candles with 2 of the 3 wicks lit.
Smells great, like sugar cookies in here.
Winter green.
And we've got a guy and Mary Ellen Trainor that are. They're businessing.
Yes, they're doing business work in a business office.
Yeah, and then we get ninjas, maybe.
Sure.
I after this opening scene, I had Soul Taker as one of my movie marriages because these guys dressed all in black just appear and disappear. Like pretty cool though. Like it's this hit squad of some sort.
All white guys.
Yeah, all white guys. Yeah, they're all white guys.
All white guy ninja team.
Which, whatever,
they're trying their best. Yeah, they're living their white life.
But they're very in and out. Like they're like strobe lights. They just they just kind of drop out of nowhere, and they're just a hit squad.
Yeah.
So kill this guy, kill Mary Ellen Trainor, and then
poor Mary Ellen Trainor.
Right. Like really, we're like, oh, Mary Ellen Trainor's in this.
And now she's not.
Yeah. We're not even at the titles yet.
They threw her like through a plate glass
window.
Yeah,
like kicked her backwards through a window.
Grisly death.
It really was. May not have killed most people, but it killed Mary Ellen Trainor.
Unfortunately, it killed Mary Ellen Trainor.
She's soft.
It's that Hollywood life.
And so then we cut to a train scene. We got basically title sequences here. This movie was filmed in Detroit, by the way.
you can't tell that by all the auto manufacturing B-roll.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure this movie at least takes place in Detroit.
Yep. I'm surprised RoboCop didn't show up.
Exactly.
Alan Trammell was there too.
Rasheed Wallace is in the background.
Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed and Ben are both there.
Barry Sanders was there.
Tayshaun Prince.
Cecil
Fielders in the movie.
Daly.
They're all there. They're all there. Including Axel Foley.
Yes,
I would
before he went out to meet up with Brent.
With both of them being police officers in Detroit, you would think that Action Jackson and Axel Foley probably crossed paths at some point.
Maybe that's where like the weird rhyming but doesn't rhyme. It was supposed to be Axel Jackson.
Axel Jackson.
Axel Jackson.
It's a tasty new cereal from General Mills.
Jericho Foley.
Yeah,
that's
I like
not
that.
Bad.
Yeah, Jericho Foley.
Jericho Foley works.
It sounds like a special sound effect.
You get a free toy at the bottom.
Hey, bring me the Jericho Foley.
No, Kellogg's, not store brand.
Yeah, it's a guy with a squeaky knee for this sound effect we need. Bring me the Jericho Foley. But no, we've got just basically this weird opening scene where we got some credits. We've got this, this young black kid that's like eyeing this lady's purse. The police are like Biff and whatever the other guy's name is are like, they sniff it out and they're like, watch that guy. He's going to go steal her purse. Which
nothing subtle. Again, this is a late '80s Joel Silver movie.
Runs up, grabs this woman's purse, tries to run off. Of course, she's stronger than he is. Slams him to the ground. Starts beating him with
German suplex.
Exactly, belly to back.
Triple rolling suplexes.
Perfect plexes it. Spits her gum out, smacks it away.
No fisherman hook.
Exactly. Don't take that woman's purse. And he ends up in the cop car. They apprehend him. And we're taking you downtown to meet Action Jackson.
Yeah,
which
they build him up to be this like mythical. Figure.
It's like I think I said it. Yesterday we were talking about it. They give him the Chuck Norris treatment of that old meme from a decade or so ago of like Chuck Norris isn't afraid of the dark's afraid of Chuck Norris, that kind of thing. So they're really talking him up. They get him to the precinct. And the kid's just like shaking in his boots. Yeah. Just at the thought of
I'm surprised they didn't have one of those sequences where like they cut to his waist and now it's all wet.
Exactly. He's peed himself.
And his knees are shaking. Action
Jackson. And so we find out that we meet Jackson and he's former Lieutenant Jackson that's been downgraded because
he did his job too well.
Because he did his job, but he did his job with the wrong person.
Yes, you don't go after the guy who's the lead, the auto magnate in Detroit.
Oh no, there we go. We were blurry for a moment. I think the camera's grabbing old Jason Voorhees' face back there. But so we've got we meet him. We find out that he's basically on desk duty. Bill Duke in a very non-Bill Dukian role.
He was chewing the scene, but not in a good way.
No.
It's he was like trying to act.
Yeah, and he's just be a tough guy. So he, you're off the. I mean, he did play the part of '80s police sergeant.
Yes,
yelling at his subordinates.
Yes, and, like a Dirty Harry sort of.
You're off the case, Jackson.
The mayor's breathing down my throat.
What are we gonna do? And so, we find out that Jackson's got history with Dellaplane. That history being, your son's a bad guy and I locked him up, but you've got enough power that you had me, demoted, as it be.
Yeah, it's kind of like the yellow B word from Sin City.
Yes, very, very much. It probably was his son.
Yeah.
In a crossover event,
yes,
Action Jackson and Bruce Willis were on the same police force. And which probably means that Dellaplane had relations with Jessica Alba.
You
would have been that route.
Yeah. I don't want to think about that.
No, me either. And so we've got this weird setup where it's a very serious police station with this like goofy borderline Seinfeld comedy pops. It's just these weird comedy pops in the music that make you like you're confused. Like
the music is telling you this should be funny,
right? But
it's that sort of like soundtrack that's going on.
But the only mildly comical thing in this is that this perp that Biff and his partner brought in, they've ramped up. He's so afraid of Jackson that just making eye contact with Jackson causes him to faint. He does it like twice.
Oh my stars!
but when it happens, it's like it's really not funny. But that's the only comedy in this. Like
that's the bit.
This setup, and it's just they play this to death throughout the film
while they're trying to like exposition stuff about the plot.
Yeah, it's like an old. well, it was like an old Chappelle skit where they're trying to be serious, and then you've got that guy like
doing the robot,
through the scene on the background. It's like it doesn't fit here, but okay. So really, what we have is these guys that are all involved somehow with this movie's version of the United Auto Workers.
Mm-hmm.
They all
7732025,000. They're sponsored of the show.
By the way. But yeah, they keep getting killed. Like we get another scene where there's a guy on a boat.
The white ninjas get the drop on.
Yes, they get it
on a boat.
They get a drop on him on a boat and like blow the boat up with him
on a boat.
Oh, I love Akon. Is it Akon?
I don't remember. It should be.
It should be somebody with voice modulation.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. That Lonely Island. Lonely Island. It was a dirty island. I love that dirty island.
Dirty island.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of these knocked out. Of course, Jackson isn't like he's sniffed it out because he is a good cop.
Mm-hmm.
He's
not allowed to do his job.
Not allowed to do his job.
He can't he's detecting, but he can't act on it.
Right. And so, despite all this, like Police Chief Bill Duke keeps putting him in positions to keep crossing paths with Dellaplane.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they clearly are antagonistic towards each other. But the police, I mean, and you don't get the feel really at any of this that this is a situation where like Dellaplane's got the police on his payroll. You know, this isn't like a Marconi kind of feel. This is just bad police work. And so we've got, we've got lost my track here.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. There's not really a track to this movie.
There's a lot going on, but at the same time, nothing's going on.
It's like he goes around and talks to people, and he's like doing his research and doing his like detective work.
But he's not supposed to be.
Yes,
right.
But no one's stopping him.
Right. Yeah.
But in the meantime, like another member, somebody who's connected with the union gets whacked.
Yeah. Yeah. They just keep dying.
It's just this cycle of this, like the first hour and a half of the movie.
Yeah. And so then Jackson goes to Dellaplane's house. Mm-hmm. And his wife had overheard a phone conversation because, got ahead of myself. Jackson shows up at this bougie restaurant where Dellaplane is having dinner with like the either current president of the Auto Workers Union or the new incoming president.
Well, and he was being celebrated as like philanthropist.
Yeah.
Like not philanderer, philanthropist of the year. Although he could have won the other one as well.
Either way, yeah. And so he shows up and basically just keeps like being a pest to Dellaplane, really. But enough to where Sharon Stone is like, she hears the same names dropped in a conversation with the giant Buddha-looking, bodyguard.
And so, like, her suspicion levels are slowly going up. And she knows about the past with Jackson. So she's not ignorant to, like, what's happening.
And she even calls Dellaplane on it. And he's like, oh, no, of course not. Well, she's trying to get Dellaplane's ear as he's about to leave because like she overheard this conversation. And of course, Dellaplane doesn't want to listen to her. Jackson happens to show up at the house. So she tells him everything.
Literally like moments later.
Like he
just shows up. Like,
it's like a drive-through.
They don't give a reason why.
Nope.
He just shows up.
Exposition.
Yeah.
Like he's detecting that this was the time for the movie to move along.
He's not allowed to be a detective, but he's
like,
great at detecting.
If I sit at my desk, there's not much action happening. And so he shows up and she's, the bodyguard knows that she's heard.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like following her. She agrees to ride off with Jackson and tells him everything. Yeah. Because she trusts him now, which she really has no reason not to trust him. But other than just she's married to Dellaplane.
And he's a friendly ear to talk to.
And he's the protagonist of the movie.
Well, and he's a very good-looking man also.
Yeah. So, and so, Dellaplane at some point goes to a club in the middle of the day where apparently Vanity, Sydney Ash,
Sydney Ash.
She works the day shift at that. It's still, it's the 80s because it's just like wall-to-wall smoke.
What I want to do at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Exactly. Let's go watch Sydney Ash sing.
Sing.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was rough.
They go, it
really
was.
Rough.
Yeah. She was nominated for a Razzie for this one. which is I don't feel is fair because that would be a Razzie for worst actress, which requires you to act, and I don't think she was doing that.
No, I think she just showed up on set.
Yeah,
just be yourself.
Yeah, just okay, you know.
And when you hear the word Sydney, just open your eyes
Yeah.
away.
That guy there is. Even if everyone calls him Craig, his name is Dellaplane. Don't forget. And him, you may have seen him in other movies as Carl Weathers, but his name is Action. So, it's, okay, those are easy to remember. Got him. But yeah, so she's something. And they've got Dellaplane, and like basically he's stepping out, whatever. Dellaplane then goes home, kills his wife. He has like judo lessons at some point, like breaks the dude's arm. Like it just. You get the vibe that if it weren't for the dyed blonde hair, that Dellaplane's a bad guy, and because everything he does on film is to be a bad guy in this movie.
Yeah, he takes phone calls. He's prioritizing business over his wife.
Right. Yeah, like a bad guy, like a boss.
Prioritizing the Italian purchaser over his wife Sharon Stone.
Yeah, idiot. So. You could tell this was early in careers because there was a couple bits of nudity in the movie.
Yeah.
That
both Sharon Stone and Vanity.
I know, that's what I mean. Sharon Stone and Vanity, both unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary.
Both with Craig T.
The scene with Vanity was hysterical.
It was. It was.
God, he said something to her. Like it was something along the lines of like, I got two reasons that I want to be with you, and then she takes her top off.
Right. Okay.
Oh, those are the two reasons.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Thankfully, though, he didn't go like Steven Seagal and get all honky.
Complete with his own sound effects.
Yeah, he really didn't. Thankfully. Craig T is a professional.
Yes, this was not the sequel to, what was it? We called Hard to Kill, Honking Away.
Honking
that
Away,
was the ultimate title. This Hard to Kill. Honking Away. There he is, just honking away.
Honking away. Honk, honk. But really, it's just a matter of Jackson is pursuing Dellaplane, trying to catch him. I guess catch him in the act. I don't really know. There's one instance where he gets like, what was the taxi thing? I remember it being like the most action packed at this point.
Yeah, that's when he was out with Sharon Stone.
That's right.
He was out with Mrs. Dellaplane.
Right.
And they sent a goon to whack both of them.
Yeah.
Like they sent a car careening at them in the street, and
he reminded me of a younger version of the guy from Chappelle's Show that kept going, "Let me holla at you." Let me holla, 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 holla. That's what it reminded me of. It wasn't him. Yeah, he also reminded me of the guy that was supposed to accompany Schwarzenegger in Commando, but he knocked him out, and he's like, "It's my friend who's dead tired." Like,
it might have been the same guy.
He reminded me of him.
I think it actually. Not that I think it was the same guy.
So there's another.
I think there was another Ron. Joel, I almost said Ron Silver. Joel Silver. Ron's involved too.
It's a Ron Howard. It's a Ron Howard joint.
It's Ron Howard / Joel Silver.
I don't think I'd want to watch that movie.
Well, it goes back to our Arrested Development.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
We just need the little music, bing, 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 bing.
little banjo, little ukulele music in there. But yeah. So we got this goon in a taxi is coming to take down Jackson. We've established a couple of points already that Jackson was a track star.
Yes. Yeah, they made a point of bringing that up.
Yeah.
You've got an illustrious history there, Jackson. You were a track star.
You were a track star.
You won the Nobel Prize.
You won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Like, it's quite a feat.
You make quite a stew, Jackson.
Great golf instructor.
You tracked down the predator in the jungle.
With one arm.
Yeah, one arm. You beat Rocky.
Yeah, you rope-a-doped. Couldn't stop the Cold War, though.
No, couldn't quite do that.
Kind of caused it.
Yeah, in a way.
In a way. Mm-hmm. But, and that's the illustrious career of Carl. And so, yeah, he's got this scene with a taxi that the goon tries to, like, sideswipe he and Mrs. Dellaplane, and he, chucks her aside, and then chases down this taxi on foot. Not in a situation where, the taxi got slowed down in traffic.
He was sprinting
after it. He was sprinting and catching it.
It reminded me of the scene from Captain America Civil War, where they're all sprinting through that tunnel.
I was going to go the scene at the beginning of the first Superman where Clark's running past the train.
Yeah.
Only the Captain America reference makes more sense because at least they looked like they were running, as opposed to Clark that's like, we're going to hoist you about 4 inches off the ground and just move your feet.
Yeah. He does spit out a great line as it starts, I have to catch a cab.
And he just chases
He literally
down,
catches it.
and then has a lot of like vocalized monologue as he jumps on top of the car. Of course, then they're doing the 80s, car chase thing where we're just going to crank the wheel left and right to get you to fall off, to which, he's telling to himself, I'm starting to think this is a bad idea.
It's like Jason Statham in the Transporter.
It's just
flat.
And so he does the whole slams on the brakes. He goes flying forward off the car. And then he like taunts him, like, come on.
Yeah, because the guy has a gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun.
He easily could just
You're right.
the gun.
But he talks him down from that, like,
He'll run me over like a man.
Come on, Bennett. I heard this somewhere before. Like, why you sound like Schwarzenegger? Trust me, it's the Anna Commando.
Come here.
Right. It does. Talks him into throwing the gun away and just like ramming the car at him.
Mm-hmm.
To which then he just does a front flip over the car.
Over the taxi.
To which then the taxi runs into something. And
I think he crashes into like a fireworks factory.
Yeah, so exactly. he hit just drove just over into the Indiana border.
Just right over the interstate.
Just right there from Detroit.
Crazy Kaplan ran right into it.
Black cats everywhere.
Maybe it was the Yankee candle.
It may have been the Yankee candle. That's right.
A lot of wicks.
The Roman candles and zings all over the place.
It smelled great.
So
it's like a mulberry.
So that was the taxi scene. That was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, that was in the trailer too.
Yeah,
fun trailer.
Yeah, it was a fun trailer.
Yeah, not quite a fun movie.
And so Mrs. Dellaplane goes home, tells her husband everything. He's packing heat. Shoots her.
I love you. Bang.
Right.
More than life itself.
I don't think I believe you.
Tell that to the hole in my chest.
Ouch. Mr. Dellaplane.
Well, I even have my notes. He lights a cigarette right after he shoots his wife.
Yeah, like this was the intercourse he was wanting.
That's quite an aphrodisiac.
Yeah. And so, instructs his goons to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, again, for really no apparent reason, Jackson goes and checks out the 1:30 show.
Yeah.
Sees Sidney Ash singing again. And because he's sitting where Dellaplane sits, she's just in love with the spot.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even really care who's sitting there.
No, I'm going to sing seductively to that chair.
Right.
Whoever's in that chair.
You are the one who's getting my melody.
Some guy just like tying his shoe. Excuse me?
Waitress like sets down the tray and
just sings to the tray.
Just singing to that class. And so Jackson, of course, isn't Dellaplane. So I don't think she really knows the difference. Like she's speaking to Jackson as if she's not confused. I'm not like literally thinking she's confused, but like her delivery to Dellaplane and to Jackson is the exact same. Like, you came to my show. I now have to show you my goods.
Yes. That's how this works, right?
And Jackson's, I couldn't tell if initially he was on board with it because he's like, she's like, let's go to your place. He's like, let's go to yours. They go to her place. Of course, it explodes.
Yeah.
Because really no reason.
No, but for some reason, apparently Dellaplane suspects her now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, there's been no reason to suspect her.
I killed my wife. I may as well kill my mistress too.
Might as well.
Start over.
2 for 1. So it is the purge. It was the purge night. So then they go to Froggy McFroggerson's hotel.
Froggy McFroggerson.
I should have turned on the subtitles for this.
I think was it Michigan J Frog?
I think it was. Although I could understand Michigan J Frog. I could. Welcome to my hotel.
Be a boxer.
That's me in my hotel. Jackson got a woman. Like, I don't understand what he's saying at all. But
all from the bottom lip.
That's all it is.
All right there.
It's all. His entire vocal range is between his tooth and his bottom lip. And so, give us room 3 or whatever. Long story short, he and Jackson are buds, trying to protect Sidney Ash for reasons unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And really, like, that's where the whole rest of the movie is basically just protecting Sidney Ash.
Yeah.
don't know why, other than just Jackson. I mean, they have like, I'm sure that they probably cried together at some point. Jackson, like, really, like, I know I just met you, but I used to be married and we're divorced now. And
yeah, things got a little real.
Yeah, like real. But meanwhile, like, and so real, they didn't include the comedy pop music either.
Well, and in the meantime, she's like, well, we're either going to have sex or I need to find heroin.
Yeah, it's like one or the other.
One of those two things.
Yeah.
And he's like chiding her like he's a dare officer.
Yeah, like mama needs some action. And he's like, well, but either yours or a hit, one of the two. But yeah, she's just like straight junkie. To the point that like he leaves for a few minutes and she somehow sniffs out Sonny Landham.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and but even then, like the hotel like guy, the receptionist, he's away, like who in the building's doing smack or whatever.
Who's a pusher?
Yeah. And so, you know, Jackson throws him out a window into another window across the alley.
Across an alley, yeah.
Which is a very narrow alley. While all this is going on, his car's been stripped down. His one love, his one pride and joy,
and the only constant in his life,
his vehicle. It's been stripped down because it is Detroit.
Everything gets recycled.
Right. It's like, you know, and he has his mom. Do you know how important that car is to me? Well, no, Jackson, you just met her.
And the N209 walks out with the big squealing noises.
He comes flying out of the safe. You know, and so Kurtwood Smith shows up and
gets doused in radioactive chemicals.
It happens in Detroit. You know, we got, you know, Eminem playing Bunny over on the side.
He's there too.
He's over there.
Joe Dumars
did the soundtrack.
Yeah. Mark McGuire.
And so, no kidding, of course. Biff and Sidekick show up because they
Officer Biff and Officer Not Biff.
Right, exactly. Biff and the other guy. They show up because they recognize Jackson's car. But they also, when Dellaplane's wife was murdered, her body was planted in Jackson's apartment.
Yeah.
So now
every cop in Detroit is after Jackson.
Everybody because there's no possible way this could have been a setup. Jackson had to have done it. So they're after Jackson. They pull in, they kind of go up after him. They see him throw Sonny Landham out the window. So then they take off to the third floor. Jackson is a terrible driver, by the way. They take off to the third floor by foot on stairs. Jackson and Vanity then jump out into his car.
Yeah, through like the cloth.
Right.
Top thing.
So now the police officers, who they're very quick, by the way. They make it to the third floor.
They get up there fast, yeah.
Jackson and Vanity then get out of his car, get into the police car, and start backing up, and the cops are back on the ground floor.
Biff, he can move quick.
He can.
Underestimate him. It's like when he was putting that coat of wax.
I'm sorry, Mr. McFly. I'm sorry.
Don't you con me, Officer Biff.
Did I say it was second coat? I was just getting ready to put on this.
What a character.
Biff. And so he, you know, Jackson and Vanity steal a cop car.
Course.
And they go.
They maintain a low profile.
There's a plot to get so and so as the new guy in the auto workers union.
Head of the union.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Dellaplane's trying to, you know, take over the world. It's a pinky in the brain thing he's got going on.
What are we gonna do tonight, Dellaplane?
And you know, so there's it really just culminates in this. There's supposed to be they've got the current. They meet up with the guy who's going to be replacing the president of the auto workers union. The ninjas or whatever from before show up. They can't take out Jackson and Vanity. They don't take out anybody, really. They show up in the helicopter quietly. Snuck up on them on a helicopter.
The same thing, Lethal Weapon. Yeah. A helicopter comes up.
Sneak up in a helicopter. Nobody really gets axed, but they do find out that Dellaplane's going to have this big ceremony. They're going to kill the president at this ceremony.
With a guy dressed as Jackson.
A guy dressed as Jackson's going to cap him. So now Jackson's onto it. So he gets all of his buddies to help out. They get Vanity. You got Buddha's bodyguard guy that's now turned face for some completely unknown reason.
This huge bodyguard. We were joking about this the other day as we were talking about this. It has like a wrestling face turn, like he was a heel the whole time now.
Yeah, and we don't know why he's good all of a sudden.
No, but he's there.
We
he's like, "Hello, Detroit." He's playing to the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, we established that the guy who ran the hotel is a boxer because he gets an opportunity to shuffle his feet and punch a man, to which somebody yells out, "Hey, are you Fats Morgan?" or whatever. You better believe it. It's basically like all these people that have been in and out of his life have shown up to help out. They somehow all secured tuxedos and rides to the event, including
the youthful guy from the beginning as well.
The running joke of the guy who passes out. The Jackson just walks in. Like whole world's looking for him. Just walks in. He, long story short, like the guy dressed as Jackson in a tree. He gets a shot off, but it just hits the guy in the shoulder. Then the guy who's going to be the replacement just like Dellaplane did it. He just I don't want any of this. So he turns face all of a sudden. We end up with the final showdown. Yeah. Dellaplane and Jackson.
Well, how did Jackson catch up with him, Oz?
Yeah. Dellaplane takes Sydney upstairs, and he's gonna overdose her.
Yeah. And that's how she'll die because she's a junkie.
Right. Yeah. So no one will even question it. But of course, Dellaplane running a automotive manufacturing. He's got a car there. Yeah.
Sweet red sports car.
Yeah, the turbo or whatever, where the slogan is fast, faster, fastest, I think. Something.
It's like Captain Marvel, like higher, further, faster.
Something like that. So Jackson jumps in the car and drives into the house. Yes. Drives around the hallways, drives up the stairwell.
Up the stairs, up the staircase.
It's nice to see Dellaplane's home is ADA compliant. Like it is set up to where not only is it handicap accessible, it's handicap van accessible. Yeah. He's literally like driving the sports car at high speeds through the house. This thing corners on rails. Yeah. Like he doesn't hit anything.
It's Tokyo drifting.
Yes, absolutely. And then comes powering into the bedroom, and of course Dellaplane he's armed, but Jackson, who we've already established can talk someone down, come on, let's do it.
Instead of just shooting Sydney and then shooting
Jackson. He's okay. I'm gonna play your game.
Won't you be a man? Put that gun down. Take me. Let's go head on.
Come on, Bennett. But we've also established that Dellaplane is quite lethal.
He is
in the martial arts. So we get
when I think Craig T. Nelson, I think
I do
nimble.
Too. I think the martialist of arts.
Yes, so, not the marshaller, the
martialist, like fast, faster, fastest. So these guys face off. Jackson warns him, "You're gonna make me mad." And he just keeps like pummeling him, and then finally says, "You've made me mad." Totally like Hogan's out on him.
Starts no selling.
Right, just no sells anything.
Cups his hand to his ear.
He's a real American.
Yeah.
And just destroys Dellaplane, and Sergeant Bill Duke or whatever shows up, and what's going on here? Like the rest of the police force is late.
Yes. But they all arrive at the exact same
time. They commuted. Everybody hop in the paddy wagon. We're going down to Dellaplane's. And so he calls him Sergeant.
Yes.
So elevating him,
or Lieutenant.
Elevating him back to his lieutenant.
Yeah. And that's how that works.
Right? And he's like, "Really? Yes. Like there you go. You're back on the street.
You're back to where you were."
Exactly. And then he gets in the canoe plane with Radon Chong, and they fly away with Alyssa Milano and but that's pretty much the end of the movie. Like
Yeah, she tells I just quit cold.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because that's how you stop taking heroin.
I'm not a heroin junkie anymore.
Yeah,
she just
decided.
I quit cold turkey.
Yeah,
like it's
just for you.
Well, addicts are in control. I can quit whenever I want.
Yeah, and she proves that theory right because that's how it works.
So Vanity. If Vanity could do it, you can do it, folks.
And we roll the credits as the Pointer Sisters play.
Yeah, again. Yeah, because we had this on the opening sequence as well. So
that's 1988's Action Jackson.
Yeah. There we go.
So hey, folks, we're at that point in the show where Oz and I give our own unique rating about the film we've been yapping about. Action Jackson. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this 6 glistening biceps.
6. That's a good solid rating for this movie.
6 glistening biceps. He's a very glistening man. So what about you? What do you got?
I'm going to give a quick a plot point before you.
Oh yeah, please do.
At one point, he's shaking down some bad guys for info, and he's told, "Go talk to this hairstylist."
Oh, I forgot about her.
And
I actually have her down in my notes.
And he goes and talks to this hairstylist, and she knows everything.
Everything. Yeah.
She knows like where the bad guys are. She knows it's Dellaplane. She knows everyone that's involved. She basically expositions the entire like what's going to happen in the third act.
Like the people that have died, she knows who killed them. Like she knows it all. She knows it all, baby.
Yes, they were very stereotypical in how they
get very much. I don't think she opened her eyes. She just was so jolly that she's got a swish her sweet.
So my rating, I'm giving this 57 well-connected hairstylist.
No, fun. Yeah, she knew it all. Like Jackson would have saved so much time if he just went to her first.
I know, right? Just talk to her first. She would have told him everything he needed.
Yeah.
Next up, folks, is Outside Insights. Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs, searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well. Oz, what's your Outside Insight?
I got a 3.5-star review from 8917. So from Detroit.
TH113.
Exactly. It's a little lengthy. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's very Jeff Foxworthian. How do you know if you're living in an 80s action movie? If you're a cop who's so famous everybody knows your name and reputation before they meet you, you might be in an 80s action movie.
Oh, I see what's happening.
If 2 cops are taunting a suspect by threatening him with police brutality, and this is supposed to be funny, you might be in an 80s action movie. If you've used your Ivy League education to get yourself a low-paying job where you beat people up for a living, you might be in an 80s
That's
action
right, he's a Harvard grad.
Yeah, he's a Harvard grad. If the Pointer Sisters recorded the theme song for you, you might be in an 80s action movie. If Bill Duke is ticked off at Carl Weathers, you might be in an 80s action movie. If Devereaux White won't shut up while he's either driving or parking a car for you, you might be in an 80s action movie. If your car explodes on impact, I hope for your sake that you're in an 80s action movie, because otherwise you might be driving a Ford Pinto. If Craig T. Nelson is nailing both Sharon Stone and Vanity, I'm guessing here, but you might be in an 80s action movie. And if all this is happening around you, and you've got Al Leong, Sonny Landham, Robert Davi, Nicholas Worth, and Bob Miner all hanging around looking like they're up to no good, you're definitely in an 80s action movie. Yes. So there you go, 3.5 stars. There was another paragraph or two, but that was the meat of it. What do you got?
I got a couple I'm going to share. This first one I'm pretty sure was written tongue-in-cheek, but I'm going to share it anyways.
All right.
This is a 10 out of 10 from the Internet Movie Database. From Drunk221 back in July 1999.
It's my favorite droid.
Yeah. That's an Astromax.
Yeah. He's at Max Rebo's.
Some say he didn't even have a mother and was created by NASA to be the first man to walk on the moon without a spacesuit. Others say his mother was assaulted by a Yeti, and he was their mutant offspring. Well, they're all wrong. He's actually just the most BA cop in all of Motown. Why do they call him Action? Do the math, Brainiac. See it.
That's why.
That's why.
He could have been on the A-Team.
My other Outside Insight I'm going to share is also from the Internet Movie Database. However, this is only a 1 out of 10. This is left from SPFI7 in January 2002. After seeing Carl Weathers in only the Rocky movies, it seemed he had nothing better else to do. Action Jackson proves that point. Even Hot Stuff Vanity's naked body couldn't save this.
Yeah.
Perv alert.
Yeah. That's why I watched it. There wasn't enough of it.
Perv alert.
so
it's so gross when people get
pervy
in these.
Well, they bring it up. Like they can't even hide the perviness. That they're just like, no, naked vanity couldn't even solve it.
No, it solved things for me, but not for him.
Needed more. They're probably just ticked off because it's just like a scene.
Yeah. More naked vanity.
Come on.
Well, yes, that's our Outside Insights, folks. Hey, it's that point in the show you've all been waiting for, our in-person and live signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the film in question, Action Jackson. Oz, my friend, what are your 3 goods?
My first one was just a real quick throwaway joke between Devereaux White and Biff in the car. And Biff's talking about how like he just lives alone or whatever, and he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore. Devereaux White makes his comment about it, like, yeah, your apartment's become a regular house of wax. It just struck me as funny, so I threw that in here. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I hadn't heard that. My second good is just Craig T. Nelson as a womanizing martial art bad guy. It's just fun. Like
that's a good combination.
It was just one man that doesn't really fit either of the roles you're throwing at me, but it works, and I just thought it was funny. And my third is this is just a bad movie. Like,
it is, yeah.
It's not good. It's manageable. Like I hadn't seen it prior. There's a good chance I probably won't see it again. But I've seen Action Jackson now, so
the trailer is far superior.
Yeah, but it's like it's to me it's a good piece. Like I wasn't expecting a lot, and it delivered.
That's exactly what you wanted.
Exactly. It didn't give me much.
No.
So those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
Oh, let's see. I have several goods here, and they're all just silly things. The first is just that springboard jump onto the cab, which just it sold me in the trailer. And I got over. Like I saw ahead of time the movie. Like it's at a 5.5 on IMDb, so it can't be that good.
Middle of the road.
And then I watched the trailer. It's like, oh man, that jump over the moving cab.
Like people just don't get it.
Like if this movie is going to be an hour and a half of that, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And like that scene happened. And nothing else.
Yeah.
So
it's like the pervy guy who's like, oh, Sharon Stone and Vanity. I heard they're both naked.
So me and that pervy guy have more in common. He just wants to see more naked Vanity.
Yeah, you just want to see more springboard Jackson.
More springboards over the cab. Whatever, Vanity, Sharon Stone. Yeah, cool. But
it's like,
maybe we're jumping over
exactly.
cabs.
I want more cabs.
More cab jumping. My second good is during a scene where it's kind of towards the end. It's like beginning of Act 3. They're cornered in this like some kind of industrial park or something.
Yeah,
and Action gets his hands on a grenade launcher.
Oh yeah,
and there's a guy like the last white ninja, and the white ninja gang is there, and he asks him, "How do you barbecue? How do you like your ribs?" Boom!
Right before he says that, is this the same guy that he said "chill out" and then caught him on fire?
Yeah. But just the how do you like your ribs?
How do you like your ribs?
Shoots him with a grenade launcher. And then the last one, I always get a kick out of, also in that same scene, I always get a kick out of in action movies, guys getting thrown up against some kind of electrical power grid and doing like the...
It's very dangerous. Those open-faced power grids are very dangerous.
There's nothing there that's going to shock you. It happened in No Holds Barred. I think that it happened in Commando.
It happens next week, too.
but guys getting thrown against something that has dials on it.
Happened in the Lost Boys.
Somehow they get electrocuted.
Backs are very conductive of electricity.
They are.
If your back touches any sort of open electric field, you're done for.
Yeah, I mean that's where all the water in the body centers. It's right there.
Well,
at the back,
it's like a camel.
Yeah,
it's just how it works.
Science. That's how it works.
If it happens to you, you've got some dromedary in your ancestry.
Yes. So if you're getting thrown against an electrical panel, do what you can to turn 180.
Oh yeah. Try to tuck a shoulder or something.
Yeah, you don't want to let it hit your back.
No, not at all.
So those are my 3 goods. What are your 2 bads?
My first bad is that we joked on the poster how they put action in quotes.
Yeah.
It deserves to be in quotes because
action.
For a guy named Action Jackson, there's very minimal time in the movie where he's actually like an action star.
Yes.
Like
he's just arriving and leaving places.
Yeah, and he is he's reserved to desk duty. Mm-hmm. So he does redeem himself a little bit near the end, but ultimately, Action deserved to be in quotes in the poster. Mm-hmm. And my second is just the attempts at comedy.
Yes, that was one of my possible bads.
They weren't like especially Maine. Like I said, as one of my goods was that kind of throwaway joke between the two, like, you know, police sidekick kind of things.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're not the main character. But yeah, when the plot actually got rolling, it was a pretty serious plot, and they just tried to inject a little bit of humor here and there.
Yeah, it's like there's that early scene in the police station, and it's like Looney Tunes-esque music playing in the background with like the violin plucks, and,
right?
And like it's just weird.
I agree. Yeah,
like, am I supposed to be laughing?
Yeah,
at this?
I don't. But there wasn't anything funny other than just the little beeps and boops of
the movie is telling me to laugh.
Yeah,
but you know, it's like the laugh track playing in a sitcom. Like, okay, it's my cue to laugh.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. Only we're going to play it over like Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues for LA Law.
Exactly. Like Law and Order SVU with a laugh track.
Oh man, that corpse has been there for a while.
Right. That poor child's never going to see a light of day again.
That puppy fell at least 4 stories.
Right. I think so. Oh boy. What are your two bads?
There's so many to pick from here. It's first of all, I'll just say we kind of mentioned this a few minutes ago, like the insinuation that people can just quit heroin culture.
You just can. In the 80s you could. It wasn't it was pure at the time.
Yeah, she probably was a member of like the DARE program.
Right.
Big Nancy Reagan fan.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. You just quit cold turkey just like that.
She dared to say no.
Yeah, and she did. I mean, those Carl Weathers pecs are a good incentive to give it up, I guess.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
And like the shaming that happened to her.
Yeah.
Like, no,
he didn't need to do that.
That's not how you help someone.
No.
You support them. You don't enable them, but you support them.
And even if you didn't know how to help someone in the 80s, like, you've established your character as being like the good cop, and you're just being a jerk because she has a drug addiction.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're going out of your way to like help her survive because it's benefiting your case.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're not doing it for her good. You're doing it to benefit what you're trying to uncover.
So you can become a lieutenant again.
Yeah. So, what a dirty cop.
Yeah. My second, I'll just state the obvious. This movie's plot is just all over the place.
Yeah,
like
a little much.
The editing is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a poorly told story.
Yeah, it really is.
And
I agree.
Hard to follow equals bad movie.
Yeah.
So those are my two bads. Az, what's your
I've got some potential Huns. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through these first kind of quick. I kind of mentioned to you before. The early scene in the police precinct, there were a couple of prostitutes sitting on the counter. It seems like, why are 80s cop movies always have prostitutes sitting on the counter?
They're everywhere.
Like
you can't throw a cat in here without hitting a prostitute at a counter.
They're just sitting there. Like, are they under arrest, or are they just like DoorDash? Like,
well, and one of the cops solicits the prostitute right there.
Yeah,
and again, it's like that Looney Tunes music is playing.
Detroit.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, look at him go.
Cop is soliciting prostitutes.
He's working, but so is she.
That's the economy working, my friend.
My second one is, what was Kid Sable saying? Like, I don't understand where he's in. And my third, you kind of mentioned it. Why does the hairdresser know all of the details?
Yes, that was also
all the secret details.
Everything.
But my real is, why does Carl Weathers glisten? Like, you see him shirtless several times in the movie, but never like after an action scene. But like, even after he got out of the shower, at the hotel.
Yeah, he wasn't wet; he was oily.
Exactly, he was dry, but he was shiny.
Yeah,
like
that's standard police issue body oil.
But he was also shiny. Well, obviously he was shiny in the Rocky movies, but he was shiny in Predator. Like, maybe this is just Carl Weathers. Maybe he just
glistens.
Maybe he grew out of it, because I don't remember him being overly shiny in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
But
when you get your hand bit off.
That's true. Yeah. Just all the oil just oozed out.
Leaked out.
Severed that artery and all my oil went. So, but yeah, why is Carl Weathers so glistening? So that's my official What's yours?
I'll go with a runner-up as well. My runner-up is, there was a scene you didn't even mention because it was completely irrelevant. But at one point they end up in this like pool hall.
Oh yeah.
And they're like shaking guys down for info.
that scene
I have
stupid.
no idea what was happening in that scene.
Yeah, we just had to get more guys in.
Yeah, like that's
that scene was just dumb.
Yeah, like I have no idea what the point of that scene was.
To maybe be comedic because like he gets captured by these hoods, and they're going to cut off his testicles.
Yes,
because that's what he went. He went to the pool hall looking for a certain guy.
Yeah,
and they showed him the guy, but it was his testicles in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a good keepsake.
Yeah, they were gonna, and it was the only thing in the cabinet. So maybe they're starting a collection. I don't know. So they're gonna do the same thing to Jackson, but then Vanity comes in and just says, "Oh, basically, he has special needs. He thinks he's got a higher purpose." To where Jackson leans into it and does his all like gospel, gospel, preacher, and then they just back off, and then of course he just defeats them all.
Through the power of God.
Through the power, but it was just dumb.
Yeah,
I forgot about that scene because it wasn't worth remembering.
Scene, but like, why? My actual is what was Jackson assigned to do during the day? Like he was demoted from a lieutenant to a sergeant. But like, what was his job? Everyone's
paperwork, I guess.
But like he just went wherever he wanted as he pleased.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They told him like don't mess with Dellaplane anymore. And he kept doing it, and nobody
nope. Never got back to the police house. Oh man,
this movie is just.
Well, to be fair, Bill Duke never left his office.
That's true. Too busy chewing the scenery.
Right. There's a lot to eat in here.
Yeah, so that's action.
Jackson. Oh, we've got another movie next week to go with Rhyming Titles Month. What do you have for us?
We do. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. We're gonna fast forward.
Yeah. We're gonna fast forward.
We're gonna fast forward.
Pause before you finish this statement.
From 1988 to I believe 2006. I believe.
Should we record this episode?
We'll set the timer. We're gonna go to the Jack Black Most Deaf film Be Kind Rewind to continue rhyming titles.
The Michel Gondry film.
Mm-hmm. This is a fun movie.
I like this movie.
Yes,
I liked it when it came. I really liked the premise.
Yeah.
I like where they went with it because they easily could have just run with the premise and it would have been, I think, hysterical. Like I was really impressed with the delivery upon the premise, but the overarching story is still a very sweet one. So I really liked it. But yeah, Be Kind Rewind for next week. Social media wise, you guys can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Of course, Patreon link is down below as well. And other than that, that wraps up the first week of 2024.
Happy 2024.
One of our resolutions for you 4 Patreon subscribers, and maybe the reason why we don't have more, we have made a resolution. We are going to record more mini episodes.
Yes.
We have gotten.
We're gonna dangle that carrot.
We've been terrible at it, to be honest. We were pretty solid there for a couple of months, and then we just quit. Yeah. And we're sorry. Because our Patreon subscribers deserve better.
They do. They deserve more.
You deserve more. Although I haven't even checked to see if they've even listened to her back. It doesn't matter. But still, that's the extra kicker. You deserve it. We need to deliver. So you could expect more Patreon specific episodes coming.
More Let's Talk About Flicks content.
More of it. Because there's never enough.
No.
Never enough. So, look at what we're wearing.
I know, right?
Look at that.
That's courtesy of Patreon subscriber Melissa.
I like how you threw your own name in there.
Curtis.
The shirt is courtesy.
It is courtesy.
A little Aussie,
it's courtesy. Too. Yeah, it's courtesy.
It's half courtesy.
Thank you, Patreon subscriber.
Yes, thank you,
Melissa,
Patreon subscriber.
for the sweet merch.
See, this is the benefit you get to be a Patreon subscriber. You also can make and send us stuff.
Yes.
It's a one-way street, but there are 2 lanes going that direction.
The gift back to them is the content.
That's true. That we don't. That we haven't.
So,
been
in other words, like you owe us.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of avenues. There's a lot of episodes you could go get screen caps from.
I could really use some new sweatpants.
I would love a new pair of bibs with my face on them. So, but no, that wraps up the first episode of the year for Let's Talk About Flicks. I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you guys next week with Be Kind Rewind.